Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to our Nutrition for Youth Footballers week. Today, we're going to be doing match day fuel, specifically pre-game meals, what to eat for my football match on the day and also the night before. So this is a very common question. We've got about 10 questions to go through and some FAQs, which we will answer as we go. So just give me a thumbs up if you're watching this live. We'll just wait for a couple of people to join and then we'll get going. So hope you're having a good week. This is going to be obviously recorded live, but posted straight away to YouTube as well. So even if you're not watching this live, interact, comment on the video, and let me know if you've got any questions or suggestions that you'd like me to do in future lives or videos. So this topic is not nutritional advice, it's just ways that you might go about it. So I am a level 2 exercise and nutritionist as well, but that is not my expertise. This is just some very basic surface level information that beginners might not know. So let me know if you find this useful and we will get into it. So let me just make sure that I'm sharing my screen. Okay, I believe you should be able to see me. So match day fuel, what should footballers eat before a match day? Let's just check that we're rolling. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry, I'm just checking that we are actually live. Yep, we are live. Okay, cool. Okay, so what should footballers eat before a match day? Let's think about what we actually need before we get into the what's. So a football game is 90 minutes long or about that. If you're younger, it might be 70, 80 minutes. But ultimately, it's a long, slow process. So we need something that releases energy over a longer period of time. So we need to be careful about which types of foods we eat, as although certain foods might be in the same category, so as a carbohydrate, there are different categories within that category that will dictate how the energy is released. So it might be a simple or a complex carbohydrate. We will go into that in more detail next, but ultimately carbohydrates is what we need to help us last the full match. When should I have my carbohydrates or my full match meal? So you obviously don't just want carbohydrates. You want the meal to be balanced, but the loading of the meal, so in terms of the ratios of the carbs, the proteins, and the fats, you want slightly more carbohydrates than you would usually. So I've done a full blog on this topic, which I will leave the link to in the description of this video. It's basically giving you all of the FA's guidelines on how you should eat as a youth footballer, the ratios, and everything that you need to know around food and football. So typically, when do I want to eat before a game? This is a very individualized answer. So some players might like to eat way before, just to make sure that they're not feeling heavy or sluggish. They might have a slower metabolism. They might take longer to digest, which is fine. Or some players might want to eat closer to kick off. So they might have a faster metabolism. They might not get bloated or as bloated as other players. and that might just be their preference. But typically, it's going to be 3 to 4 hours before kickoff. Sometimes some people might say 2, but I think personally that's a little bit too close. So usually 3 or 4 hours before kickoff, you want your complex carbs, your proteins, and good hydration as well. So carbohydrates are stored in the body as glycogen. Glycogen is stored in the muscles mainly, and also in the liver. So when our body needs to release the carbohydrates, which is stored as glycogen, a process called glycolysis takes place in our body. So that is what will give us that slow release of energy. When might I have a top-up snack during or before my game? You might have a banana or a protein bar or a fruit bar about half an hour to 60 minutes before a match. Don't leave it too late though, as we have talked about, that bloating and feeling sluggish in the game is very easy if you leave it too late. When we do leave this too late, the response of our body, the actual biology of it, is that there isn't enough blood to there isn't enough blood to digest and also exercise at the same time. Our body wants to do one thing or the other, which is why we get stitches in our stomachs when we don't eat soon enough before exercising. So when we leave it late, our body wants to divert blood to the stomach in order to allow digestion to take place properly. But when we start exercising, our body and our muscles need nutrients, oxygen, and to remove carbon dioxide. So that's when we need blood to the muscles. That's when we get that conflict of what should the body do? Do I need to go to the digestive system, or do I need to go to the musculoskeletal system? We need a lot of blood in our legs when we're playing football. Obviously, we've got some really big muscles. We've got the glutes, the biggest muscles in the body. We've got the quadriceps, the hamstrings, and these need blood to perform. When we increase our heart rate, our blood gets pumped around faster as well. So think about the distribution of why we need to divert blood to certain areas of the body, and am I allowing my body enough time to do that, or am I eating too late? So yeah, just to generalize that, an optimal strategy is to eat a balanced meal early and a light snack later if needed. Hydration is really important. We're going to go more into hydration in a little bit. So where do we get our carbohydrates from? Which carbohydrate should I use, and what's the difference between complex and simple carbs? So there's complex and simple carbs. Your complex carbs and your simple carbs, we're talking about the molecular makeup of what the food actually is on a really microscopic level. So it's the way that the molecules are bonded together. Complex carbs, it's obviously a much more complex build up and makeup, whereas the simple carbs, it's all in the name. It's simple. So the complex ones are going to take longer to break down. They've got more complex chains. I'm using complex to describe complex. I need to find another word. They've got more intricate bonds and builds. So that will take longer to break down when we're trying to release this energy out of the carbs. So that's compared to a simple carb where it's a lot more easier to release the energy. So it's going to release quicker, but also run out quicker. So the simple carbs are good for just a quick top up snack. So if you think about bananas, grapes, honey on toast, but our complex carbs is what should make up our big meals before our match. So these could be things like oats, pasta, rice. These can be, accompanied by our proteins and other nutrients. So that's the main difference between the two and what they give us. The timings, again, complex carbs. When we're having our big meal, try and leave 3 or 4 hours before, so we're not getting that bloating. So we can send blood to the digestive system, finish all the work there, and then when we're ready to exercise, then we've got blood ready to divert to the musculoskeletal system, the respiratory system, all of these other systems in the body that our body needs to function and perform to its maximal performance. So why is fat the enemy of a pre-game meal? Now, fat already is villainized, but we do actually need fats in order to survive. However, on a game day, fats aren't exactly the best option to have. So when we have fats, they take longer to digest than carbohydrates, and they aren't as efficient as an energy source. So the slower digestion is not what we want on a game day. We want something to digest quickly and release energy over a longer period of time. Our healthy fats, on the other hand, are a great source of energy and nutrients. Think about things like nuts, avocados, things that have healthy fats are, the not the ones that you'd think of normally. So, man's gone blank, but I'll put some images on the screen for the YouTube video here of what they might look like. And again, the result of that is that heavy, sluggish feeling of stomach cramps, stitches, and these can be really, really painful to play through. So try and avoid fats before your match, especially on a game day before your match. So that is fats. Next up, why are fizzy drinks and high-fibre cereals a recipe for disaster? So when we've just talked about our digestion and we want something to digest quickly and efficiently, these two are not great at all in order to do that. So when we drink fizzy drinks, they're very carbonated. So that's why we get bloated. We need to burp a lot because our bodies are trying to get that gas out. They're very gaseous, and this isn't good for our digestive system. It creates these big gaseous bubbles that take up a lot of space and don't actually do much. So avoid fizzy drinks. Try and cut out fizzy drinks from your diet anyway, because there isn't any benefit apart from the taste. They're addictive, but that's how they're designed. As for the high fiber cereals, try and have something that will help with your digestion. High fiber cereal bars are generally okay, but some of them are actually surprisingly have a high amount of sugar in them. So just be careful when you're having these, and you know what's in them. So try and read the sugar content and what's actually in them, not just what's on the front. So try and read the back and what are the ingredients. The result of bloating, it might make you need the toilet more. It can make you feel a little bit slower, sluggish, and it's an uncomfortable bloating. You'll feel like you'll need the toilet when you might not need to go. So this is especially during physical exertion when we're doing high intensity exercise. Okay, moving on. Okay. Next is the chicken nugget trap. So we're talking about fast food and how it's not just extra calories. So we need to understand what is actually in fast food and how that affects our body. So in fast food, there is a lot of what we call refined oils, as well as high sodium content. So our refined oils are going to promote inflammation throughout the body, which is not what we need when we're trying to perform. Inflammation is good for the body, but in the right moments and in the right ways. So getting inflammation through refined oils isn't what we want. This is going to cause us systemic inflammation inside our body. So systemic means something deep rooted or inside. This can have negative impact on recovery and muscle function. Obviously, we want recovery to be efficient after we've done our performance or played our match, and also our muscle function needs to be efficient during the match, obviously. So 2 reasons before and after why refined oils are not good for the body. Again, it gives you that sluggish feeling in terms of the water retention. This can cause you to feel fatigued and reduce your energy levels. Both lead to reduced speed, agility, and overall game performance. So fast food is definitely not what we want. This can cause the same issues, just in different ways, as we've just talked about before in the first 4. Another thing is electrolyte balance with the high sodium content. We lose electrolytes through our sweat when we play sport or do exercise. So our electrolytes are really important to give us that. Without extra electrolytes, we're going to feel energyless. So that's why we need to replenish these electrolytes after we've done intense exercise, and we can do that through drinks and other methods, which we'll go into in a little bit. So we're going to go into some FAQs, some frequently answered questions in the industry. Let me know in the comments below if you've got any that I've missed or I don't do in this video. So the first one here is, my kid has zero appetite before a morning game. Should I try and force them to eat? Now, a lot of people will say you shouldn't play on an empty stomach, but the opposite also has negative effects as well, playing on a full stomach, as we've talked about earlier. Playing on a full stomach can lead to stitches and stomach cramps. So the force feeding, heavy meals, eating for the sake of eating isn't necessarily going to be useful. So try and replace those heavy meals if you've not got a lot of time before the games, because obviously morning kickoffs, you might be rushing around to get out of the door. You might have a 1-hour journey to make, a 9 o'clock kickoff. You might not have a lot of time. So try and think about an alternative solution on a morning match day. So this could come in the form of a homemade smoothie, homemade being the key word there. A lot of fruit smoothies have a lot of additives, a lot of high sugar content. So try and stay away from the smoothies, or be careful and read into what you're actually buying. Try not to take it for what it says on the front. A lot of them have a lot of hidden things in them. So homemade fruit smoothies, even chocolate milk can be a good alternative for carbs, but again, with the sugar content, just be careful. So ultimately, don't force a heavy meal. Perhaps switch to a liquid alternative. See how it works, give it a go. If it doesn't work, then you might go to a light snack instead. Next frequently answered question: are energy drinks like Prime, Monster, or Red Bull safe for a 12-year-old? So we need to be able to identify and separate what an energy drink is from a caffeine or a stimulant. Our energy drinks, we're going to call them electrolyte drinks. Okay, so our electrolyte drinks, as mentioned earlier, these don't have any significant impact on our nervous system. So this isn't going to send our heart rate through the roof. This isn't going to make us jitter. This isn't going to make us sweat. These are just going to replenish minerals inside our body internally and rehydrate us. Some of the electrolytes that we talked about, sodium, potassium, a couple of others as well, big ones, that they replace. These are generally safe in moderation. Obviously, be careful with the labels and reading what's actually inside them. As for the caffeine and stimulant drinks, I might need one right now. I'm feeling a bit tired. We, as adults, a lot of research to show positive impact on performance. However, for kids and youth players, it's not recommended to use. So stay away from these if you're a youth football player. Caffeine has negative impacts in terms of the physical ways that it can harm our bodies. So it can make us nervous, it can make us anxious, it can disrupt your sleep if you're drinking it after 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon. That's for adults, never mind for kids. Your nervous system is still developing as a kid, so the impact of caffeine is going to confuse it, and it's going to send it different signals. So try and stay clear of caffeine as a youth football player. Primary purpose, though, for adults is that boost, that alertness, and that temporary energy hit. Next one is one of my favorites from when I was a player. Is the halftime orange actually doing anything, or is it just a tradition to do? Is it just something that one of the parents does, and it's just a bit of a tradition? No, it's not. It's actually a really useful way to boost your energy at halftime. It's quick. You don't have to cook it. It's easy to cut up, and you can just eat it on the spot. It gives you vitamin C for cortisol control. Our cortisol control is our stress hormone. So when we're stressed, our body releases cortisol. It's a simple sugar hit for a quick second half, and it's really good for our water content as well. So it keeps us hydrated too. This is better than sugar heavy sports drinks. Like your primes that are just filled with sugar. So oranges, they are good. 9. Should Mikey carbo loading the night before, like a marathon runner or an elite sports person? No, they shouldn't. They don't need to. A professional athlete or marathon runner has a developed body, digestive system, and a much larger tank to hold all of this fuel. A kid doesn't need to be doing carbo loading. So first of all, what is carbo loading? So carbo loading is short for carbohydrate, obviously. This is a procedure where throughout the week, let's say if you've got your match day on a Saturday, throughout the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're going to deplete your storage, glycogen storage, by having very little or low carbs. On the Friday, the night before, that's when you have that heavy carb load, and that's going to skyrocket your glycogen stores for the game on Saturday. So it's just to boost your glycogen stores, send them through the roof the night before a game. Kids don't need to be doing this. Spread out your carbs throughout the day and do it safely. This will not benefit you, carbo loading. In fact, it might make you crash after the game as well, even more. So do it safely, do it steadily. You don't need to be doing what the adults do or professional athletes do. Number 10, what should they eat if they have 2 games. Excuse me. Let me try again. What should they eat if they have 2 games in one day? So let's think about tournaments. It's a great example, especially in our summer months. We're going to have a lot of games. We might have 3, 4, 5 games in a day. So try and avoid, again, heavy meals. I think we should have completely hit this on the head earlier, and I hope we have, is that avoid the heavy meals close to games. Slow digestion can cause sluggishness. Try and have something that's quick, easy to digest, and will keep you hydrated as well. Think about the electrolytes you will lose in the performance. So perhaps an electrolyte drink with a banana, that would be a really good, quick option. So avoid heavy meals. Ultimately, you need to listen to your body. So try different things, see what your body agrees with, see what your body doesn't like, and go like that. You don't need to necessarily listen to everyone else. I know it's ironic you're listening to me right now about the topic, but the best way to to improve your performance of what your body likes is listening to it. So try different things. If your body likes it, keep doing it. If your body doesn't like it, cut it out or slow it down. So that's, I think, what a lot of people do wrong, is they try and do what other people are doing. This is just a suggestion. This is literally just what might be causing you to feel bloated before a game. I hope we've hit that. We've hit those questions, and what are some of the timings, some of the things that you could do to improve your performance. So this isn't like a textbook manual where you've got to follow this strictly and then improve your performance. These are just hopefully ideas to get things going in your head. So that is our live complete. I hope you found that useful. If you've got any questions, let me just have a look if we've got any questions live. Don't think we have. No, we've got no questions live. But if you've got any questions in the recordings afterwards, leave a comment in the YouTube video or whichever platform you're watching this on, and we'll be happy to answer them. Let me know what topics you want next. I believe next week is our mindset session, so get involved with that. We've still got some places for our St. George's Park trip in April, on the 2nd of April. This is our elite and educational experience day, where we'll be doing a day in the life of a professional football player, of what the England pros do, what Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer do when they go on their international camps. It's World Cup year, so it'll be a great time for you to get down there and actually see and do what they do. So I'll leave that link in the description as well. That is a very rare opportunity. I hope you found this useful. Give this video a like, share it with someone, your teammates, share it with a teammate that can't last more than 60 minutes in the game, and I will see you next week.